Hey Alex, Blogger Grudges here. In this video, I'm going to show you how I paint Skaven Plague Monks. This model is from the Skabbix Plague Pack Underworld set, but this recipe could be applied to any other Skaven models. All the colours I'll use are on the screen right now, but feel free to swap them out for whatever colours from alternate ranges that you prefer. I've started off by base coating the entire model with Wraithbone. The first base colour I'm going to use is Rakarth Flesh, which I'll apply to the lower robes. This is a nice dingy colour which is perfect for dirty cloth. There's no need to be neat with this, any mistakes can be covered up with other colours later on. With the lower robes complete, I'm going to move on to colouring all of the skin with Kislev Flesh. Try to avoid getting this on the areas you've already covered with Rakarth Flesh, but it's not the end of the world if it spills over. Kislev Flesh is quite transparent, so you may need to apply several coats to get solid coverage, even over the Wraithbone. One area that I want to pick out in a different colour is the belt. To do this, I'll use Gore-Grunter Fur, which is a nice dark brown. I'll also use this colour to paint the knife handles and the pouch on his belt. To make the model look a bit more interesting, I'm going to paint the upper robes in a different colour to the lower half. I'll use Deathguard Green for this, which goes well with the Rakarth Flesh and turns a really disgusting grimy colour after taking on a brown wash. There are a couple of smaller details to pick out in base colours before moving on. Using Morghast Bone, I'm going to colour any spikes, teeth and any claws that are easy to reach. In this case, I'm going to only paint the claws on the feet because the ones on the hands are a bit fiddly and they won't be particularly noticeable after applying a wash anyway. The last base colour I'll apply is Leadbelcher, which I'm going to use to fill in the knife blades. There are also small rivets on the bottom of both of the knife handles, so don't forget to pick those out with this colour too. So these guys look great even with just the base colours, but a brown wash will really help to bring this model together. I'm going to use an equal parts mixture of Agrax Earthshade and Matte Medium to add some nice shading to all of the model. This mixture is quite thin, so it can be easily moved around once it's on the model, and the medium should give you plenty of time to work with it. You don't need to be particularly vigilant monitoring this, but make sure to do a little wash watch just to clear up any areas where the wash is pooling. Now that wash will take a while to dry, but once it's done the model looks great. The brown wash really adds a layer of grime all over the model and it also stains it quite heavily. To knock the staining back a bit, I'm going to layer some areas and apply some highlights to brighten the model up a little. To start off with, I'll layer Rakarth Flesh back over the lower robes, trying to leave the wash in the recesses wherever possible, particularly in areas where the upper and lower robes overlap. After that, I'll apply a second highlight on the highest raised areas using an equal parts mixture of Rakarth Flesh and Wraithbone. Next, using Deathguard Green, I'll re-establish the base colour on the upper robes while leaving the shade in the recesses. There are some really nice folds sculpted onto the back of the robes that are great for highlighting with this colour. I'm going to follow this up with an edge highlight of Deathguard Green mixed with Wraithbone in equal parts. When highlighting cloth like this, I think it's really a case of less is more. Try to limit it to just the edges and the very raised areas. The last highlight I'm going to apply is a layer of Kislev Flesh back over the skin. Like before, try to keep it on the raised areas or wherever the wash has settled in a way that you don't particularly like. I'll also use this colour to pick out individual segments on the tail to help them stand out against the lower robes. At this point I'm going to call this model complete. If you want you could go a little bit further and highlight the metal as well, but I quite like the grimy look that it's got at the moment. I'm going to apply a base to this guy off camera and then we can take a closer look. And that is a finished Plague Monk. I think the two colour robes really help to sell this model and they work so much better than a single colour. If you're painting a large group of Plague Monks, you'll get quite a lot of mileage out of mixing and matching different colour robes to create interesting variations on models that are generally quite similar. All of the techniques I've shown in this video will work just fine on any Skaven models or anything that you want to just end up looking quite grimy in general, like Chaos Cultists. As a final word, I'd just like to remind everyone that there are no rats the size of men in the sewers beneath Nuln. Now that's all for this video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in sticking around then please leave a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.